Hi everyone. Today we are going to take a look at the different parts of a research article. And to help us do that, we're going to consult the article that we read about houses and childhood memories of homes from people that live in Iran and Australia. So the first part of most research articles is called an abstract or a summary. And if you are doing research, this is a really great tool to use to decide if the article that you are looking at is going to be relevant for your research. It's a short overview of what the article is about, its main ideas, its aims, and its findings. And not all research articles have an abstract, but if they do, it comes before the article's introduction. The introduction contains the study goals or aims and larger implications of what the research will contribute to the field of study. And it gives a brief outline of the theory of the research, and also usually it defines basic terms. So looking at our article, we have an introduction that contains the background about houses and homes, the psychological importance of what a home is and means. And then finally, it also talks about what the paper about houses and homes is trying to achieve in terms of talking about the way that people feel about their homes. The background information of an article gives you historical framework as well as theoretical framework for the topic. If you think about research as if it were a conversation between several different people, and the conversation is all of the research that was ever written about a certain topic, then reading one article is sort of like entering a room where you're not really sure what the conversation is about. So the background information gives you that. It tells you what people have said in the past, what people are saying now, and this is also a really good section for you to look to find those seed sources, those main essential articles that pretty much every other research article talks about in this particular field or in this certain conversation. Next, you have the procedure, and this is the who, the what, and the how of the research. So these study participants will include who was consulted, how they were recruited, were they compensated, what did they contribute to the study. There's also the method of how the research was conducted, how the different variables were controlled or manipulated, and how researchers performed the experiment. Then finally, you also have the what of the procedure. What kind of tools did the researchers use? Did they conduct tests or did they send out surveys that they used to gather data from? And what data were collected? So here from our article on houses in Iran and Australia, we have a section that talks to us about the different participants. And you can see that the groups included 30 people from Iran, 30 people from Australia, and 30 people who actually migrated from Iran to Australia, giving the total number of participants 90. The next section is the results section. This section includes the information about how the researchers analyzed the data in order to answer their research question. And this section usually contains many numbers, including statistical tests to see whether the findings that the researchers ended up with were reliable, how likely they were to be duplicated. That is, if you were a researcher and you wanted to do this exact study, would you get the same results? Or were the results of this particular study just pure chance? This section reports the results from the home study and talks about a statistical test that was run to test whether there was a correlation between two groups. One of the interesting findings of this study is that there were no significant differences between the males and females. In the discussion section, there is information about what the results mean for the research and for the researcher's question. So the researchers will explain in this section what they found, why it's important, and how some of the unexpected or unusual results could be explained. And this section often also includes future directions for research. So here in our article, we have the outcome and its benefit to the profession of architecture and people. Finally, at the end of the article is a list of references. Now we will be using APA format, and the article that we read used something similar but not quite APA. Essentially, you need to have the authors' names, the titles, the dates, the sources where the article was published, and the page numbers. This is really important for you because if you find an article that is useful to your research, that is relevant, there will be many other articles in this section that you can consult that will be similarly useful. So use this as a way to further enrich your research and your reading. Thanks for your attention. Good luck with your research.